What happens when a life built on lies begins to crumble? For Jonathan Nice, a respected scientist and entrepreneur, it all began with a lie that spiraled into a web of betrayal, violence, and a carefully orchestrated crime scene. The shocking events surrounding his wife Michelle's death would forever change the lives of their family and shock a peaceful New Jersey community. Today in this video, we'll dive deep into a story of deception, obsession, and the tragic downfall of a man who tried to hide his darkest secrets, but failed. Stay tuned as we unravel the chilling true crime story of Jonathan and Michelle Nice, a mail-order romance that turned into a nightmare. What if the perfect love story was built on lies? Jonathan Nice had it all: a successful career in pharmaceuticals, a PhD in pharmacology, and a beautiful family in an affluent suburban town. Yet, despite his professional success, his personal life was far from flawless. In the 1990s, Jonathan, in his late 30s, found himself feeling lonely and disconnected. Seeking a companion, he placed an ad looking for a pen pal. Michelle Rivera, a young woman from the Philippines, responded. What began as an innocent exchange of letters soon turned into phone calls, and before long, they were planning to meet. What started as a long-distance romance quickly blossomed into an engagement. Michelle, eager to escape her modest life in the Philippines, married Jonathan in June 1990, and together they moved to the United States. There, Michelle gave birth to 3 children, and the couple settled in a lavish home in Hopewell Township, New Jersey. Their life appeared to be the epitome of the American dream. But beneath the picture-perfect surface, cracks began to form. As Jonathan's career flourished, the emotional distance between him and Michelle widened. Despite the outward appearance of success, their marriage was far from perfect, and the worst was yet to come. The affair that would unravel everything. Have you ever felt trapped in a life you didn't choose, longing for a way out? That's exactly how Michelle felt in the early 2000s. Jonathan's career obsession left Michelle alone in their large, unfamiliar home, and her dreams of connection and intimacy began to fade. It was a life she had never expected, a gilded cage with no escape. One day, she met Miguel de Jesus, a landscaper working on their property. What began as small talk between them quickly turned into something more. She found comfort in Miguel's attention, a relief from the isolation she felt in her marriage. Over time, their relationship blossomed into a full-blown affair, hidden from Jonathan's prying eyes. But Jonathan wasn't blind to the signs. Paranoia set in as he noticed small changes. Longer phone calls, unexplained late nights, and the distant looks shared between Michelle and Miguel. He began confronting Michelle about his suspicions, but she kept denying everything, spinning a web of lies that only fueled his jealousy. As Michelle's need for independence grew, Jonathan's possessiveness reached new heights, making their marriage increasingly toxic. The shocking discovery. What if the worst fear you've ever had came true, but not the way you imagined? On the morning of January 16, 2004, Jonathan's worst nightmare materialized. Michelle was dead. A utility worker found her lifeless body inside their car near Jacobs Creek Road in Hopewell Township. The car's engine was still running, and it initially seemed like a tragic accident. But something didn't sit right with the officers on the scene. The authorities quickly noticed several strange inconsistencies. The car's exterior showed almost no damage, despite the awkward angle it was parked at. Footprints leading away from the vehicle but none leading to it, a detail that immediately seemed suspicious. Blood outside the car that didn't match injuries typically seen in car crashes, raising more questions about what had happened. What initially appeared to be a tragic accident soon turned into something more sinister. Investigators soon realized that Michelle's death was no accident. It had been carefully staged to mislead them. The investigation unfolds. What happens when the lies you've told finally catch up with you? Jonathan's inconsistencies in his story only deepened the investigation's suspicions. Initially, he claimed Michelle had left him voluntarily, but there was no evidence to back his claim. As police dug deeper, his version of events began to crumble. The investigation took a chilling turn when a baseball bat with bloodstains was found in Jonathan's garage. The weapon linked Jonathan directly to Michelle's death, And the medical examiner's report revealed something even more disturbing: blunt force trauma to Michelle's head, not the injuries expected from a crash. It became clear that Jonathan had killed Michelle in a violent confrontation, driven by the rage and betrayal of discovering her affair with Miguel. Jonathan's worst fears had come true, but instead of facing the consequences, he chose to bury the truth with more lies and deceit. The trial and conviction. When your lies unravel in front of a jury, what's left to defend? In 2005, Jonathan stood trial for second-degree manslaughter. The prosecution painted a picture of a man consumed by jealousy and rage, who killed his wife in a fit of anger after discovering her affair. On the other hand, Jonathan's defense claimed Michelle's death was an accident, insisting that he had acted in self-defense during an argument. The courtroom battle was intense, with emotions running high as both sides presented their cases. However, the jury wasn't swayed by Jonathan's defense. The evidence was clear, and Jonathan was convicted of manslaughter. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison for his actions. After serving 5 years, he was released early for good behavior, but by that point, his life was forever changed. His conviction had shattered the image of a successful, upstanding family man. The fall of a once-respected scientist. How far can a once-respected man fall before hitting rock bottom? After his release from prison, Jonathan's life took a dark turn. With a background in science, he turned to a bizarre new venture: selling fraudulent cancer treatments for pets. Using his credibility as a medical researcher, he marketed unapproved drugs to desperate pet owners, preying on their grief and hope. He promised these heartbroken pet owners a cure, all while knowing the treatments were worthless and untested, exploiting their trust for personal gain. His actions didn't go unnoticed. A federal investigation soon uncovered his scheme, leading to charges in 2020 for fraudulent marketing. Jonathan was convicted and sentenced to 8 years in prison for defrauding hundreds of pet owners out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. His descent from respected scientist to convicted criminal was as dramatic as it was tragic. From a man with great potential to someone willing to exploit others for profit, Jonathan's story was now one of complete moral collapse. The man once trusted with the responsibility of helping others had instead chosen a path of deceit and manipulation. The family left behind. How does a family pick up the pieces when the foundation they built everything on crumbles? Michelle's death left behind 3 young children who were left devastated not only by the loss of their mother, but also by the revelation of their father's involvement in her murder. After Jonathan's conviction, the children were placed in the care of Jonathan's brother in Pennsylvania, where they tried to rebuild their lives, but the emotional scars remained. As Michelle's children grew older, they carried the weight of their mother's tragic death and the complicated legacy of their father's actions. Despite being raised in a safe and loving environment by relatives, the psychological toll of growing up without their mother and the trauma of their father's involvement in her death was ever present. Michelle's memory lives on through them, but her untimely death and the actions of her husband serve as a permanent reminder of how deception and betrayal can destroy everything. This story is a stark reminder that nothing is ever truly what it seems. What appeared to be a dream life turned into a nightmare filled with betrayal, violence, and deceit. Jonathan Nice's tragic downfall shows us that even the most successful people can fall prey to jealousy and rage, leading to devastating consequences. If you found this story shocking, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime stories that uncover the dark side of human nature. Stay tuned for our next deep dive into a real-life mystery, and as always, keep questioning the truth.